the lovely stove that my mother purchased in 1953 for $260 on a 10-year payment plan. Did I say 63 or 53?
Thank you, Vanna.
53.
The other one, yes, thank you.
No, I still have to put that burner back in the broiler down below. It's now the icon of the Hot Stove Society. I cleaned it for many years. I just looked up to see what the value was because it cost me about $10,000 to get it here from the East Coast, and sure enough, the value is about $10,000. So, if I had all the parts and pieces, which is like on those old gas stoves, like 57 Chevys, but typically on the top, there's a rail that goes along the top that has salt and pepper shakers, timers, clocks, things like that. Typically, if it has all of that, is when it's worth the 10 grand. So, but it's in pretty nice shape, considering she cooked on it for 70 years.
It's unbelievably
I
clean.
cleaned it for 15 of those.
That's why it's so clean.
We have to name it. Should we have a naming contest for the stove? Because it really is.
I got an idea.
I like to say that I have 6 sisters, a brother, and a stove.
I think you should name it after a Greek god.
She gave that stove more attention than I ever got, is what all I'm saying about
after
that.
a Greek god, no?
Yeah.
That seems like to be a pattern with you.
Zeus.
Here we go.
It needs to be feminine. She represents my mother. Mary Gertrude Douglas. Her maiden name, maybe Gertie. I like Gertie. She hated that name, Gertie. My dad would call her Gert, and she would Gert. How romantic is that?
There is prettier than that, for sure.
Romantic enough that they had 8 children is all I'm going to say about that. Oh, that's right. We have hibiscus mimosas today and regular mimosas. I think when we get over 20 people, we add a bar. Is that right? We get Julie Ross in the bar. Chef, mimosa for you?
No, thank you. I'm driving this morning.
What?
Just kidding.
Are you allowed to drink with your situation where you're waiting on a
No,
transplant?
not really, but I do make exception.
You do? Okay. Don't say that. We're on live on YouTube.
I don't care. That's the reality.
Are we on? We're on, right? Yeah. Okay.
If you open a 1959 Chateau Latour right now, I promise you I will drink. How's that? I'm not going to break for no reason, for not just any reason, but for good one, I will.
Okay. Wow. Muffins are out. Anyone coming to our Maui event tomorrow night with Drew back in the back playing his... Maybe
wait. Maybe they don't know about it. Maybe we should remind them.
It's all sold out, so it's too late.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. But if you want to send money to Maui, we have plenty of ways of connecting you. Yep. Go to tomdouglas.com and look on the website. You'll see plenty of places to do.
It says Tom Douglas Vacation Plan.
Thierry Roturo, GoFundMe.
Oh, what a tragedy.
That is a tragedy.
Okay, Chef.
Yep.
Ready?
Absolutely. All pumped up, ready to go.
We are pumped up. You guys know where the restroom code is over there? 1216, I believe, is our number. Very nice.
It was a good year.
All right. And you'll see Sean walking out to give us time cues once in a while. He's our technical director. Technical whiz, I prefer to call him. Julie behind the bar. We've got Annie and her team, Bua and Drew, working breakfast, and Franz is back there working breakfast. And they're all making food for tomorrow night, right? Is that right, Bua? What are you making? Some macaroni salad. All right.
Who's making the wasabi? No, not the wasabi, the musubi.
Musubi? Who's on musubi tomorrow night? And what station do I have tomorrow night? Kahlua pork. Do you give me the pig for a reason?
Yeah, because I'll be with you.
Annie is enamored with my size. She is about the smallest human, and I'm about the largest. And so... Nice. And she's got a bad attitude. Welcome to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio. We're so thrilled that you're here with us. Got a big crowd today. Mike Teer is going to join us from Pike Western Wine Shop. He is a little remnant of our my relationship with Mike and Pamela over the years, 40 some years of being friends, and that's where I met my wife. Was that she was working retail at the Pike Western Wine Shop in the Pike Place Market.
I thought you met her at De Laurentiis.
No, that was Pamela who
Oh,
was
Pamela,
managing.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I met Pamela. Some 1980. Thank you very much. You're listening to us on Cairo. We're here at the Hot Stove, which is located on the second floor of the beautiful Hotel Andra. We're thrilled to be part of the scene here. People take staycations here. It's been super busy summer.
Isn't it called Tom Douglas City by now? This whole block here?
This whole block. Exactly. I don't think Mauro at Assaggio would appreciate that. He's the busiest restaurant in town. I swear that guy is jamming all the time.
I think he would like to be in Tom Douglas City.
Yeah. We invite you to join us for breakfast. Everyone just got their blueberry muffin. It is a delicious little start to the day. It goes along with a full breakfast and hot coffee. So if you want to buy a ticket, go to hotstovesociety.com, or you can sign up and subscribe at Tom Douglas & Co. for our YouTube channel. Doesn't cost you a penny to subscribe. It costs you $25 to come here and have breakfast, which is a value, don't you think? Yeah. Coming up, classes here at the Hot Stove, paella party, Friday, September the 8th. Have you ever made paella, chef?
Yes, but never here never here at the Hot Stove.
Yeah. When we do this and when I'm the instructor, I don't take the paella thing because I'm too impatient.
Oh,
I
can see that.
I always turn the fire up too high and I want to scorch the bottom. But Bridget here, Annie here, they just make beautiful paella here in class with everyone watching them. And Saturday, September 16th, you got to start your time in the kitchen with some good knife skills. So we have a knife skills class on September the 16th. So we do lots of home classes, lots of business challenges, dumpling challenges.
This is a great place to bring your friends and just rent the place for lunch and have a cooking class, have food, have lunch. I think it's a
used to be we could hire you, chef, to come.
If you want to be cook or want to be chef, this is a great place to come and do this for your birthday. Just rent the place and.
All right, on the show today, Stacy Fortner here is our pastry chef extraordinaire out at the Ballard Warehouse Kitchen. She's going to tell us about making summer biscuits and shortcakes. She's from the Louisville area, so she's got a southern biscuit.
It's Louisville.
Yeah, I think her dog is named Biscuit. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, it is the ugliest dog on the planet. So it's good that her biscuits don't look like her dog.
Next time you come to her house, he's probably going to bite you.
Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. That was a hot topic here coming up because everyone has gone to Europe. Everyone I know has gone to Europe this summer, and they're all coming back broke with their credit cards maxed, and they need to still want to drink wine from where they traveled. So what are some cheap values throughout Europe? Mike
Inexpensive, not cheap.
Yeah, exactly that. Mike Teer is going to tell us. Lindsay Funston from The Kitchen, which is a blog, kind of foodie website, will join us to talk about storing tomatoes. We got 2 tomato segments today because we are at the peak of the season.
That's right.
One is with Coke Farms, who's an organics grower from Charlie's. And then the other one is Lindsay, who I thought her article was interesting about how to store tomatoes. You know, we've talked about don't put it in the fridge, put them on the counter, put them in a brown bag. She's got all the real answers because she's done the research.
You know what? We need experts. That's good.
Food in the news: salty, chopsticks, caterpillar, smuggling, and Eau de Stilton. You're gonna like that one, aren't you?
You know, I always, when I made my line of perfume when I was at Lule, I swear I was gonna make a line of perfume. That one was gonna be for men. It was gonna be called Eau de Foie Gras, and one for ladies called Eau de Truffe. How would that go?
I don't think the ladies would appreciate smelling like a stinky truffle.
Well, the men would appreciate the ladies smelling like a truffle.
Exactly. All right. The espresso martini is making a comeback over at the Carlisle Room, where we get a lot of Gen Xers going to the Paramount Theater. They're like, we can't keep our Mr. Coffee in stock.
I can understand that. That's a good.
So
that's
Leann's
a good cocktail when it's done well.
I mean, coffee drinks were really popular when I moved to Seattle in '77.
Yeah.
Being the coffee nudge, being the number one selling coffee drink, more than Irish coffee, more than everything. So we're going to talk a little bit about the resurgence of coffee drinks. And of course, we're going to wrap up the show with our Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge. Super exciting. I think that we're going to have to find a couple of people from the audience to help challenge you, Chef.
Let's find
I give the test.
somebody not like last week. They were super talented.
I know. Is anyone stupid out there or dumb that wants to take on? Oh, Sean raised his hand. He wants to take you on. Please don't come up here and be smart. Chef, what is your taste of the week?
Well, my taste of the week was a wonderful Greek dinner a couple nights ago at Usery, Omega Usery on Capitol Hill.
It's been a while for me.
I hadn't been in since pre-COVID. So it was a long time ago, and Thomas Soukakos, the owner, was there. He's on the line.
Really?
Like many of us. So I'm not doing this anymore because of my illness, but many of us have gone back on the line and doing back to the beginning because of what happened. So
and there's just a shortage of talented cooks out there. Yeah.
So anyway, he was there and a wonderful dinner. I mean, if you haven't been to Omega Usery, it's a Greek-inspired restaurant. It's a Greek restaurant, and sitting right outside, he has a little mini the door open, so kind of like sitting halfway on the sidewalk and halfway in the restaurant on a wonderful little warm night on Capitol Hill. Absolutely outstanding. Great wine list of Greek wine. He gave us a Chardonnay. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. I'm sorry. Let me take this back. It was not a Chardonnay. It was a Greek grape, and I'm ashamed to say I don't remember. It was outstanding. It was delicious. And then the food, wonderful whole rockfish, grilled, and lots of fennel, cucumber, tzatziki, and a beautiful platter of mezze, to start the meal. All kind of different things, from hummus to different appetizer, tzatziki, and pita bread. Beautiful warm pita, outstanding pita bread.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so
sounds delicious. Omega
Usery. I recommend everyone to go revisit that restaurant or visit it if you haven't. They were really busy.
Awesome. My taste of the week was several, because it's super fun to do this part of my job, which is we're developing a menu for our little wine bar that we're opening in the next couple of months called Neb. And I was making, so it's fall food. So I've been playing around with fall things. I cured some butternut squash in saba, which is like a unoaked. Well, it's an unoaked balsamic vinegar type thing. So it's more blonde. And I did some roasted pears with dates and taleggio. A little yesterday on evening, I do these spots for evening for the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
I did, the end of the farm season. I did a mushroom omelet with the farm fresh eggs and chev and mushrooms. My favorite. I even said on the show that Chef Terry would call this overcooked, but not me. He likes that running.
I didn't tell you this yet, but it was your birthday a week or two ago, and
I think it's about a month now, Chef.
I was at home making an omelet with a little crumbled goat cheese and some chopped chives, and I said, "That's what I'm going to give Tom for his birthday."
Yeah, you should have, except you should cook it.
That's what I was going to do.
He likes to turn them out on a plate and see the egg running out of the omelet.
Yes.
All right, summer biscuits or shortcakes coming up with Chef Stacy Fortner. Should we add some sweet corn to that on Cairo Radio? It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Okay, Fortner. Grab a mic. Huh? Your choice. That one.
Here we go. So nice to have you.
Yeah. I am a little bit older than him. Chef in the chapeau.
You had a muffin yet?
All right, you guys, just so you know, you're free to chat amongst yourselves. You don't have to be super quiet during the show. Can't yell. Unless you're yelling at Stacy. How's your blueberry muffin?
Gone.
Nice job, team.
How is it gone?
I see some red drinks out there. I don't see one in front of me. What's one got to do to get a red drink around here? All right, we're back in the kitchen here at the hot stove. We got the chef and the chapeau. We've got a large audience having breakfast. I'm Tom Douglas, and we've been joined at the mic by Stacy Fortner, pastry chef extraordinaire over at our company, and has been for how many years?
I think
Except
14,
for a little
14 or
interruption.
almost 15.
Almost 15 years with a little COVID interruption. As it interrupted.
It was barely a vacation, Tom.
It interrupted so many lives. It's something I don't like to think about. Chef Stacy, it is peak time for shortcakes and shortbreads and biscuits and all of that goes on in the summertime with all the best berries, peaches. We're
Pickled pepper.
We just picked the last of our plums. There's just so much going on right now before we get to apples and pears. And so I thought we would just talk about how to kind of finish with a flourish here in the pastry kitchen. One of the reasons I thought about last week is that we made corn shortbreads or shortcakes for my salmon dinner last Saturday night. And just the addition of fresh corn to like a cornmeal biscuit or cornmeal shortcake was fun. People kind of flipped out over it. Like that was so freaky, but it's good. Sweet corn is sweet corn, right? So
I actually use corn in quite a few pastry
Do you?
recipes. One of my favorite ice creams is sweet corn.
now, yeah, I've had that in our company and I would never
You
order
watch your
that
mouth,
again.
That's the your thing. Tom was excited. Not.
Yeah, I did not. That was not my flavor. So tell us about shortcakes and how to be successful when you're making them at home.
Well, the main thing is just to keep everything cold. So whether it's putting your flour in the freezer and your bowl, keeping your bowl cold as well, but also keeping your butter cold. The easiest way to do that, some people say to grate it and freeze it. I never do that. I would never
Jackie
do
does that all the time.
That's too much work. So I just cut it, and you want to cut it all the same size. That way it breaks down at the same rate. Cut it ahead of time, and then just wrap it back up and put it back in your refrigerator. And then I think the easiest way to keep everything cold, like I said, is just chill your bowl, freeze your flour if you really want to get technical.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way it gives you a little extra time as it's mixing together, because what's happening in a shortcake is you want the butter flaky. And if it's too warm, it'll kind of emulsify into your butter, and it won't, when the water in the butter evaporates, it creates steam. And that's where you get your nice layery biscuits from. So that's really
Is
what
that
we're
where you
going
get
for.
tenderness from too? Because sometimes you
No.
get a tough biscuit.
No, that means, maybe if you got big hands like yours, don't work it too hard. So if you get a tough biscuit, that means you mixed it too long.
I see.
Or too much. And then usually so if you're cutting your shortcakes out, and then when you get to the second little bit of scraps and you're mixing those together, you'll notice those will be harder than the first time. So what we'd like to do is just roll that a little thinner, because it's also going to puff up a little bit more. It's more layered with the butter.
Can I say one thing here
What's that?
without offending you?
My accent?
This
it's Louisville,
this
by
idea
the
that
way.
you have to use a cutter to get your biscuits instead of just putting a blob on the table and using a knife and having a nice rustic wedge like you would a scone or some sort of free-form biscuit, so you don't have that second roll. I don't understand why it's not more popular.
Well,
And I know you're a pastry chef and you like everything measured out. I watch you in the kitchen with rulers and all kinds of nonsense there.
This is how you save money.
What? Hire her.
Well,
Save having a ruler in the kitchen.
No, I understand, but
It
I'm
helps.
just saying. So
you can do it that way.
yeah,
You can
I
do it
know I
that way.
can. I do.
But one thing I would caution against, if you're having it in a big ball like that, make sure it's evenly
Level,
thin
yeah.
all the way across, because a lot of people might have the middle thicker. So by the time the center is either going to be raw and the edges will be a little too crispy.
Which
So
is
that's all I
for
would
me the
caution.
biggest problem I have with scones. 90% of the time, it's never baked enough.
Oh.
That's the problem with scones. Is many people form them whatever, and then exactly like that, it's not baked evenly.
And don't forget to get that steam too. You also need to bake them at a really high temperature.
Uh-huh.
So you're looking at in a home oven, 400,
Convection or no?
425. If you have it, great. But if you don't, just go a little bit higher temperature.
Uh-huh.
Some people are scared to go that high, but I would say at least 400 on a biscuit or a scone.
right.
or a
And
shortcake.
just to be clear, a biscuit or a shortcake or a scone should have a little brown edge. It's not supposed
Oh,
to be
yeah.
blonde.
I love the crispy edges.
Yeah.
No, that's one of
I
your
mean,
favorite things.
Yeah.
Anything without an edge is
I mean, if you go to any pastry shop in Paris,
so
everything's
brown.
Americans might think it's burnt. That's how
Yeah.
dark brown it is, and it's not. It's delicious. It's caramelized.
And another thing, you can always make a big batch ahead of time, but bake them all off and then freeze them. I don't recommend freezing it raw because baking powder gets a little weird after it's been frozen, and they won't get as much rise. So
And then how do you reheat a biscuit like that or a
just thaw it
shortcake?
out, room temperature, and then same deal, reheat it
Just-
pretty high and crispy, or a toaster oven.
And warm
works
it up
good.
in a toaster oven
That's
at
what I like to
300
do.
degrees slowly for like 5 minutes, and it's done.
And the nice thing is they're all relatively similar. Like a shortcake you could put on top of, your fruit in a casserole, and now it's a cobbler.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you had a little extra dough, you could always bake them off on the side. Make a double batch, bake shortcakes and cobbler. You could do something like
Well,
that.
that's the thing with biscuits for me. If I'm going to take the time to make biscuits, I'm putting some in the freezer. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, there is no way I would make it just for the meal.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work very well for me either. When I make dough of any kind, there's always leftovers, and I roll and either wrap it and put it in the freezer like that, or bake it. Depends on the dough I'm making. Absolutely, make more. It will be eaten eventually.
In our Dahlia Bakery cookbook, we have a Southern style biscuit and we have a fine crumb biscuit. Can you explain the difference between those two and why you would choose one over the other?
well, mine's better than the other one, obviously.
You're the Southern biscuit.
The other one for me, so when I first moved
So
to
what's the difference?
Well, to me, the other one's more like a scone. It's a little sweeter, like a Southern biscuit. You'd never put sugar in,
Really?
No.
I didn't realize
Even
that.
though we put sugar in everything else.
Yeah, no
but that's
kidding.
the one thing where we
That is
usually
very
hold back.
surprising to hear.
And I mean, maybe you might see a teaspoon, but usually you don't.
Huh.
So I think for me, that's the main difference. And the other one, like you said, the crumb is different. It's not as flaky. Doesn't have the same kind of like rise to it. And the main problem was when I moved to Seattle, I felt like, and you got to remember this was, 15 years plus ago,
Mhm.
we really couldn't find a good biscuit in town. And so that was like, for me, a kind of my personal mission was to create a Southern biscuit, at the bakery. And now I feel like we have a lot of good biscuit places.
Yeah,
in
they've
town,
become
but-
the rage for sure.
And it's a good accompaniment to a savory when there is no sugar in it.
So
Yeah.
let's
You know,
go
you
back
can-
before, because we're going to run out of time. Let's go back to your Southern biscuit, a basic recipe. Are there any additions that you feel good about, whether it's sweet corn, cheese,
Yeah,
any of that kind of thing that you like?
all of those. I love putting cheese in there, and not just like cheddar. I like to mix it up and do like a Parmesan chive
Mhm.
biscuit. I actually just made those last week at work. So yeah, and then you can even take your scrap dough that's going to be a little crispier and put something more moist in there, like the corn. And my favorite thing to do is take your scrap biscuit dough, roll them in flour, drop them in liquid, and then you got dumplings,
And
for
then you
your
got
soup.
dumplings.
Good idea.
like chicken stock.
Who
just
doesn't
drop
like a
'em in your
dumpling?
Chicken stock.
Yeah.
And then goat cheese and corn. That's one thing I'm thinking about.
And then last thing I'm going to ask, shortcakes, right?
Mhm.
You got all your berries, you got your fruit. Are you a splitter or a non-splitter?
Oh, I'm a splitter.
you're a splitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. 100 times.
Because some people make them so flat that you can't split them, and you just pour everything on top. And it's not for me. I like to split because I like to put all the juice in the middle. And
And it looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little sandwich.
yeah, so make them tall enough so you can split them.
Split them.
All right.
And then toast them. Get them crispy again.
Yeah, get them crispy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or just slather them with butter, put them in a fry pan, and get them crispy that way.
Well, that too.
There's just not quite enough butter in them already.
There's always room for that one. That one should be.
All right, Stacy
anytime.
Fortner, thank you for giving us a little primer
Thank you,
on
Stacy.
biscuits and shortcakes. Don't forget to get out there and make a batch for you and your freezer to deal with all the beautiful fruit that's coming our way at the end of summer here. All right, Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, did you visit when you were in Europe? Let's find out on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97 FM. I don't think Mike is coming until 10:45.
We can do another segment.
Did he say if Mike is zooming or is Mike zooming or is he coming? sauce. Okay. You want some tomatoes?
Put on your biscuits. Oh, shit.
What was that? All right, just don't worry about it. We'll clean it up. That was classy.
Mm.
And when is Lindsay? What time? 10:15. So we have to wait for her. How do we? I just messed that up. All right, let's do food in the news. We'll get that out of the way. Okay.
So
We're going to hour
segment one.
2, segment 1. Yeah.
Thank-
Well, it's already 9:30, so it can't be at 8:50.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do this and then be ready for her.
Don't forget to say thank you for staying with us.
Hour 2,
Segment 1.
segment 1.
Chopstick.
There we go. So we're jumping to hour 2, segment 1 here because we have guests that are timed in different spots. So luckily, Sean
Did anybody understand that?
Sean Dettori is fabulous at weaving it all together.
Basically, we have a program and we don't like to stick to it.
Kelsey, are you taking social media shots? And have we warned everyone? So if you guys don't want to be on social media for the show, you should let Kelsey know. She will eliminate any sort of pictures that she might have of your faces. If you do want to be, because we're so hot.
Or if you think you should be because you're hot.
Because Chef Terry is so hot. All right, here we go. Ready? We're back in the hot stove kitchen for hour number 2 here at the Hotel Andra, downtown Seattle. We've got a second hour packed with deliciousness. Charlie's Produce is going to join us. We've got food for thought, tasty trivia. But first, I wanted to get to some food in the news articles that I was perusing. You know, as you know, you go down rabbit holes on the internet and you find some very interesting topics. Chef, did you know? Have you
Yes.
ever done that?
Yes, I've seen some very interesting stories, and I'm very happy that, you know, in the last couple of weeks, you've been getting very taken by this whole thing of like, oh, we want to tell people about these stories that are crazy on the internet.
Well, ever since Pamela left us to go save the world, I've been doing the producer job, and so this is what I
No,
have.
it's
done
it's very
finally. Yeah.
fun.
So, food in the news. Chef, did you know that in Japan, scientists have developed smart chopsticks to add salty flavor to food?
Explain, please.
Well, apparently, so I'm going to back in April, a team of Japanese scientists revealed that they had developed a pair of chopsticks which could artificially add the taste of salt to a dish. To use the chopsticks, diners wear a wristband, like my little Pride wristband here, containing a mini computer. The device transmits sodium ions from the food through the chopsticks and then to the mouth, where they create the salty flavor using a weak electrical current. The mission behind the electrical chopsticks is simple: to help people reduce their sodium intake without compromising on flavor.
Oh, so it's not to add; it's to stop them from using
No,
it.
the electrical current adds the sensation of salt without the salt.
Oh, get you.
The Japanese have a particular penchant for saltier ingredients and dishes like that have soy sauce, miso, and ramen, and so the utensils could become commercially successful. The researchers are still fine-tuning the chopsticks so that they don't kill you with an electrical current, but hope to launch them in the marketplace next year.
In the meantime, we're going to go back to normal life where regular people know if their food is either too salty or not.
Well, sometimes even just salty is not good for people that have like hypertension or.
Yeah, and I think people
My dad
know,
had a salt issue forever.
right, and they know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's hard to not eat salt. Is the point. And it's hard to use chopsticks.
It's
Is
just
the other point.
like anything else. I mean, it's
So if you just can't use chopsticks, you don't get the salt in. It's like perfect.
perfect.
Yeah,
I
there
got
we
the idea. Yeah.
All right, a tasty snack. UK border officials detained a 22-year-old man from Burkina Faso for trying to smuggle 94 kilos, or about 200 pounds, of dried caterpillars through customs.
Was he? Do you have a restaurant in Seattle or something?
Yeah, I thought maybe he was going to buy chicken coop because they love those kind of worms. He thought it would be okay as they were for personal consumption. That's a lot of caterpillars.
Don't make that sound. It's the future.
This is unlike the 47-year-old from Togo, when it was discovered that he had 33 pounds of live, fuzzy caterpillars in his suitcase. He tried to eat as many as possible to show that they were harmless. He added that they were a snack that he was addicted to and he couldn't leave them behind.
Well, I got nothing to say to that except bon appetit.
Have you ever eaten a caterpillar?
No, but I've had bugs before. I've
me
eaten
too.
bugs. And
Crickets,
you know what,
grasshoppers.
the problem is we're not, talking about plugging ourselves into AI. We're not yet plugged that way to accept eating bugs in this part of the world. But I guarantee you the flavors is not something or the texture is not something you've never heard before or had before. And it's just a matter of closing your eyes or changing your mind to a bug is
From potato chips to crickets. I mean,
there
what's the
there are
difference?
bugs out there that are so much better than anything we eat today in terms of protein amounts and how much better for the planet it is and how much easier it is to grow and how much less of an impact it has. And I'm not trying to push that as a restaurant, but believe me, we will get to it eventually. Otherwise, we're going to lose what we have.
Did you ever eat at Vidges up there and have the cricket bread up at Vidges in Vancouver?
Yeah. And also, there is a restaurant on right next to Omega Uzuri I was talking about earlier, called NU on Capitol Hill. I remember eating bugs there, big carapace bugs, and they was totally fine.
Yeah, every market you walk into in Mexico City's got a basket of grasshoppers or something in there.
But you have to be careful about not getting confused between the local bugs and the bugs that are sold for consumption. Those are two different bugs.
We chef. All right, and the last piece of interesting information that I've come across now, this rang true to me because you, in your last life as a chef and restaurateur, developed a line of eau de, I called it eau de toilette. Was that
is eau de toilette, not eau de. You used to say eau de toilette, which is not the same thing.
I'm not very good at the French thing.
Yes, especially when it's eau de toilette.
Yeah.
Eau de toilette is a light perfume. It's not a perfume. It's much lighter. It doesn't stay on you so much. It's not
so it's watered down essentially.
And if you put too much on, it's not as obnoxious when you get into an elevator and everybody starts fainting around you.
And so, how did you make your perfume smell good?
Well, I just went to a perfumist, and she taught me all the different ideas of perfume she had, all the different scents. And then I played mad scientist, which is right up my alley because I'm a chef. So who doesn't like to mix and try and, do all kind of things like this, and came up with one time. And then I was like, okay.
It was lovely. I loved it. The bergamot was my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the area of Stilton, the Stilton Consortium has launched a blue cheese perfume. So the question is, will it catch on? The makers of the famously smelly Stilton blue cheese have produced this with a perfumer, and they've asked Kat Deely, one of those. What are they? They do online promotion. Influencer. They've asked Kat Deely to promote it. The makers say that Eau de Stilton recreates the earthy and fruity aroma of cheese in an eminently wearable perfume. It's a symphony, a veritable symphony of natural-based notes, including yarrow, angelica seed, clary sage, and valerian.
Well, as much as I like Stilton, it's not something I like to wear. I like to eat it, but I'm the first one to go to the sink and wash my fingers after I've messed with Stilton for a while. So
Nigel White says the cheese has a very distinctive mellow aroma, and our perfumer was able to capture the key essence of that scent and recreate it in what is an unusual but highly wearable perfume.
Well, it
I'm
will,
getting
it,
it for
will,
you.
it will either attract or detract.
Well, nothing could hurt me, so I'm going to get some for Christmas, personally. So we've got
Good
so
luck.
much
Good
more to go.
luck.
I've left you
Good luck.
breathless,
Yes.
so to speak.
Coming up, Charlie's.
When we come back, Charlie's is going to be here with organic tomatoes. And why do we want organic? On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. I got lost jumping around in my segments there. Here, ready to go. Mike, can you wait 10 minutes, Mike? Okay, good.
Good morning, Mike. Oh, how's he doing? Taking a new job?
Boy, I bet she missed working with the staff.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, everyone's diving right into breakfast. You must be hungry, huh?
Sent it 3 times in a row.
Hello,
Lindsay, are you with us?
I am.
Hi, Lindsay.
How's it going?
Super awesome.
Great.
Good morning.
It's Funston, right?
Funston, yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Lindsay. I'm Thierry, the chef in the hat.
Good morning.
I don't know if you can see me, but I can see you.
I can't see you, but
It's-
you're like a phantom voice.
It's purposely.
You're better off,
I have
Lindsay.
a face made for radio.
Everyone ready? Sean, you ready? All right. We are back in the kitchen here at the Hot Stove Society. You know, we like to travel the world to find you interesting guests. Huh?
I need the 1-ton tomato.
Finish, Chef. Finish.
1-ton tomato.
Oh, the little etch in your voice was
1-ton
delicious. Yes.
tomato.
Anyway, we like to travel the world to find interesting people to join our show. Today we found Lindsay Funston. She is from the website called The Kitchen, KITCHN. And I was drawn to the website because there was an article on storing tomatoes. And we had just had this conversation maybe 2 weeks ago with somebody from Charlie's Produce about how to store tomatoes. And I wasn't satisfied with our answers. You know, what we say as chefs is don't put them in the fridge or leave them on the counter, you know, pretty simple, simplistic.
Put them in a brown bag with a banana and
Yeah,
have
it's
them
pretty
ripen.
simplistic thing. So
Turn them upside down.
I asked Lindsay, and we've actually been following her for a couple of weeks because she's been out and about when we wanted to get her a couple of weeks ago. So we're thrilled that she's making the time for us today. Welcome to the Hot Stove, Lindsay.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy tomato season.
Absolutely.
Good warm welcome. Yeah, I like that.
You know, of course, when you think of summer, you think of tomatoes. And from our farm over in Eastern Washington, where it's been 100 degrees this last week, they are coming on fast and furious. And so you've got all these tomatoes, and you're not really sure what to do with them all other than the typical. But sometimes you just want to keep them fresh for a while. So, Lindsay, you have some
Of
thoughts
course.
on how to keep them fresh in your kitchen properly because you've done the research.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're we're in the same boat. Tomato season is fleeting, and we're not trying to take any chances with tomato season because no one wants a mushy, bland, flavorless tomato. So we do a very popular column on the kitchen, which is called a skills showdown, where we look at kind of the best, most viral methods for a particular kitchen skill and then see how they rank against one another. So for this particular one, we tried 5 methods for storing tomatoes. We always keep, the elements the same to make sure that it's a pure test. So we used on the vine beef steak tomatoes, very available at the common supermarket. They were all just starting to ripen, and we let them sit for 10 days, 5 different ways. Then we looked and tasted, for taste and texture and ripeness also.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start going down the methods?
You bet.
Okay. So the first 2 methods that we looked at were storing the tomatoes in the fridge. And like you said, I feel like as a tomato lover, the one kind of rule that I've always followed is tomatoes should never be in the refrigerator.
Exactly. They don't ripen anymore. They get all mushy, blah, blah, blah. That's
they
all
get mushy. They turn kind of white inside. I feel like I can tend to be a food snob about some things. When it comes to a lackluster tomato, I'm my real food snobbery comes out. I don't want one.
Plus, if you've grown it yourself and you've watched it on the vine, just get to that perfect spot, and then you do that to it. Oh my God, what a waste!
You're literally taking a ripe tomato and making it an out of season tomato.
Right.
So we first tested open air refrigeration. So just tomato going straight on a plate and just sitting in your fridge. And no surprise there, it got 2 out of 10. It was mushy. The insides got a little of that white discoloration. The cold kills tomato flavor and texture. The second method that we tried was seeing if there was any distinction between putting it in the fridge in a closed container. So the writer just took a plastic airtight deli container, and it was a little surprising. There was actually no noticeable difference. So I do just feel the cold temperature of the fridge, just as a golden rule, tomato should never go there. One thing that, we would just want to say as a caveat is if for some reason you do need to store your tomatoes in the fridge, maybe you have fruit flies, everybody's dealing with fruit flies right now, I feel you still always want to bring the tomato to room temperature if you are going to be using it in something like a caprese or BLT before you eat it. It will at least revive 5%. And then the third method.
Part of life.
Say that again?
Fruit fly is part of life.
Fruit, especially this time of year, they're furious right now. The third method that we did was what I do, and I feel it's just thinking that I knew tomatoes, was just straight on the countertop or, on your kitchen table. And I was really shocked actually to see that this scored a 3 out of 10. The tomato was super short-lived. It got mushy in 5 days. We always, as a room temperature tomato, is still always going to beat a fridge tomato, but I was pretty shocked to see that my method is scored very poorly.
Your previous method, I trust.
My previous method. I've already adopted our new one. Okay. So then the fourth method that we did was stem side down at room temperature. So truly nothing different other than grabbing your tomato, putting it stem side down, flipping it over, and then letting it sit for 10 days. And this jumped from a 3 to a 9 out of 10 just by doing that simple flip.
I wonder why that is. Is there a scientific reason?
There is a little bit. I'm no scientist, but the scientific reason is that apparently any airflow around the stem the more oxygen that the stem area gets, the more that it can breed bacteria or the start of mold to come on. Because that's usually where you see kind of the stem area gets a little murky, I feel if you leave it out for too long. So just simply flipping them upside down is creating some type of barrier against oxygen.
Well, that's
getting to
huge.
The stem.
Huge. From 3 to 9, 3 out of 10 to 9 out of 10.
And the writer apparently had like learned this tip growing up from farmers. I mean, I don't know what her, relationship is with them, but she was like, I had heard this. I thought it was an old wives' tale. So put it to the test. I had never heard this. I felt like a dummy.
Yeah, I remember that as a child. My dad, we used to pick all the tomatoes at the end of the season. And I remember my dad putting it into this area where we had the cold cellar and all the tomatoes were upside down.
Lovely.
And I
Okay,
remember
and
that
your
now.
last method, this is the one that won the day.
Da, 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 da. So this is stem side up, but you put a little piece of tape over the stem. So again, same scientific thought here. You're now just fully creating a barrier of oxygen to the stem. And this got a 10 out of 10, unchanged completely after 10 days at room temperature.
Wow.
So it didn't
Take
ripen.
your
It didn't,
tomatoes.
So this is why we're starting to see that in the stores. I'm starting to see that in like bananas. I see that when you buy bananas now, you start to see tape around the top of the banana. Is that why?
Yes, it has that little kind of protective film. I've
Yeah.
noticed that too. I keep thinking we should do a story on that. That reminds me.
well, there you go. Now you got it.
Now
Yeah, no,
got
I
it.
mean, I start to see that in stores now, and that makes total sense. Huh.
Totally.
Oh. All right. So, Lindsay, do you want to tell us where we can find more interesting articles that you guys have written at the kitchen?
I would love to, which is just simply going to thekitchen.com. And like you said earlier, it's the kitchen without the E.
And you can find lots of more interesting things. And I love,
Great site.
we do that sometimes where we, are do the hot stove tasting panel
Mhm.
on different ingredients. I love when people are more scientific about their opinions.
Correct.
So thank you, Lindsay, for jumping in there with the actual real experiments on tomato
Yes.
storage. All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Great pleasure. See you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Up next, we got another full hour of action here at the Hot Stove Society. We're going to talk to Mike Teer actually, is Mike in the first segment?
Yeah.
Got it. Never mind. We're going to talk to Charlie's Produce about organic tomatoes. We're going to talk food in the news. We're surely going to have our Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge. So let's hang with us on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. This jumping around is hard for somebody like me. Okay, we're going to go back to hour 1, segment 2. Mr. Mike, come on up to the mic.
It's going to be hour 1, segment 3. 2 was Stacy. 3 is Mike. How's life, Mike? How's life?
Life's good.
Yeah?
Good. Yeah.
Like this has been good?
Yeah, it's starting, it's, with the weather, it's like somebody took the switch. And it just is much quieter. I mean, the weekend will be busy, but people are ready to move into fall. We've had a long summer.
No, I know.
You know? So,
I'm amazed how many people. I mean, I was happy because it watered my garden.
yeah,
That was good.
absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody was. I think so. Makes me sit up straight.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not ready to jump right into fall yet.
No, I want a nice, but in the wine biz, lots of new stuff starts coming in, getting ready for
Right.
October, November, December. Yeah, people cook at home more. They're running around as much. Half my customers are gone most of the summer.
Yeah.
So, and the other half don't come to the market.
Yeah.
So it's so crowded, but it's already
Going to change quickly here.
flipping.
Finally, I got a little red drink. I'm going to catch up to you guys.
I'm just hoping they get the park done soon. All the construction. How about I went down to the waterfront the other day?
It's intense.
It's intense.
Yeah, it's going to be great when it's finally done, but 10 years of hell between the tunnel and the waterfront.
Well, I was asking.
And Madison Street, you should see Madison. Oh my-
I have seen Madison.
We went down to Friends of the Waterfront. here, and we were looking for the first time at that promenade from the waterfront side. It's steep, right? And I was asking, how are people going to navigate this? She wasn't really quite sure. She was just a volunteer. But, I see it from up top, and it looks cool, but like,
It's no steeper than Virginia Street.
no, but a lot of people look at that and turn the other way too.
That's what they're going to do. There's an elevator access.
Yeah, there's elevators. Yeah, there's elevators. But I'm still having trouble wrapping my head around it because, the aquarium is really big and round.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's a big project. All right. I'll let you finish. Swallow. It's the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo. I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Terry Rocher, the chef in the house.
We've invited our good friend of the show back to the house. We can't get Pamela back, so we got her husband, Mike Teer from Pike Western Wine Shop.
It's okay to settle for second best.
Yeah, there you go. We miss her terribly, and I know I keep saying that, but we do.
She's actually helping out at an event here tomorrow night.
She's coming to the Maui
Yeah.
fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I'll be here myself.
And so will I.
Mike, I feel like every time I turn around, I'm talking to somebody else who's either went or is going to Europe this summer. And I just am imagining all these people coming back with credit cards maxed. And, when I first started going to Europe, almost 50 years ago now, part of the fun was bringing back wine with you, right? But now you don't need to. The availability is.
Mike takes care of that for you.
I know the availability is much, but
People still do.
But
Oh, yeah?
yeah. But my point is that people are coming back with max credit cards, yet they still want to enjoy the places they visited and the wines that they had in those places. So I thought we would do a segment on inexpensive wines, like I used the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo as an example for you. $10, $20 bottles of wine, depending on the quality level. But
We're like
you
20
can-
these days.
Yeah.
you can enjoy your visit to Europe on your own kitchen table with these wines. So
Yeah, we get that all the time, almost year round. I was at this little bistro in Italy, and I had a wine out of a carafe, and it was the best wine ever.
And it was
And-
$2.
Or I was at a Beaujolais with no label on it.
Right.
And I always said, well, it was the best wine in your life at that moment because you
Yeah.
were sitting outside in a piazza in Italy eating delicious food.
People give so little credence to that fact.
and
What you
drinking-
just
I know.
said.
It's
Like, that wine
absolutely
was
true.
so good.
The
I was
setting,
just-
the
you're sitting out
setting.
there.
I'm a firm believer that the setting and an environment in which you drink any wine has a huge influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
when you're relaxed, you're stress-free, you're not working. I mean, it's just
you're in
world-
you're in a cellar, in a very cool cellar with a cool winemaker, and
Yeah.
you're in Italy, and he's making you try the least expensive wine he has, and it's the best wine you've ever had. And
Well,
you're
and
like,
the thing about those wines is they're really fresh. Those are the kinds of wines they don't even export. So you're getting it very fresh, very bright. It's perfect with the food. You don't have to spend a fortune on wine in Europe, you could wines that are a fortune here are much less expensive in Europe.
they're
anyway.
also very regional, which is
Very
the
regional.
thing that you don't always find here. We work a lot with bringing everything from everywhere, but you're in a small village in Italy or in France or whatever in Europe, you're gonna find the wine they make there.
Right, exactly.
It's like you're
exactly.
testing everything from the area, the
And
food
people
and the
often
wine.
aren't familiar with those wines, but
Right.
when they have it there, they come back. And my first piece of advice is take a picture of the label.
Label, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Helps a
exactly.
lot.
All right, Mike, I'm back. I'm broke. I want to experience what I had over there, but on a budget. What do you got for me? I'm in Italy right now.
And he's gonna call me, and I have to pay for the wine.
I just went to 3 weeks in Italy, and I'm broke. What do you got for
What
me?
part of Italy are you in?
Whatever part you have on your paper there.
Because I say you're in Italy, you know how much
Well,
wine
let's say
Italy makes?
Montepulciano d'Abruzzo.
So I based it on where I think people go the most.
Okay.
So Tuscany is probably number one.
Mhm.
Tom and I love Piedmont. A
Sure.
a lot of my customers go there, but Tuscany, you get fresh, easy drinking Chianti in every little trattoria you go into. There's one that we sell that it's the bill. Everything's around $20 a bottle.
Yeah.
Small producers. It's a producer who's been in this market for a long time. Salvapiana Chianti.
Sure, love it.
Chianti Rufina. It's from the Rufina district,
Right.
not the Classico district, but it's that light, fresh, young. It's a 2021, really good vintage that will come as close as it can to duplicating your experience. I highly recommend you try to duplicate your meal too.
Mhm.
And have,
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
make an event at home out of it.
Yeah.
make some pasta, make something.
Shave those white truffle right on top of your pasta.
Yeah. This is budget.
Oh, that's
And
right.
he's in Tuscany, not.
So a
Yeah,
small
yeah.
truffle.
So things like that. So you go to Tuscany, look for Chiantis, Rosso di Montepulcianos. Brunellos are much more expensive. Chianti can get expensive, but there's a plethora of good inexpensive wines. You and I have traveled to Piedmont a lot. Barberas and Dolcettos,
Sure.
$20, $25, really, really good.
It's
Okay.
funny because I don't know a lot about Italian wine. I know a lot about French, but not that much about Italian. When I go to an Italian restaurant, the first wine I will go on is Montepulciano.
Mhm.
Always. Because I feel like it's a food wine to me.
All
You know,
Italian wines, food
yeah.
wine.
Well, no,
Yeah.
but I feel like Montepulciano is like, to me, Montepulciano reminds me of Chinon in France, about being that kind of, earthy kind of wine. And
Right.
know,
Absolutely.
easy-
Yeah.
easy
Absolutely.
All right,
read.
let's move there. Let's move to Chinon. We're in Western France.
Well, I chose a Loire Valley wine,
Yeah.
not a Chinon, but I chose one of the best values on our shelf is a wine from Bourgogne,
Oh, yeah.
a very old school organic producer called Domaine Guillaume.
Hmm.
His Bourgogne Candide,
Right.
very kind of rustic with great fruit, but that little bit of earthiness you're talking about. It's $22. It's classic, really classic Loire Valley. It's not
Yeah.
moderned up. They're not trying to make it fruity and more accessible. It has that little more tension between acidity and a little bell pepper and fruit. And
Yeah. Chinon is a lot easier to say for Americans than it is
Right.
Bourgogne. So
well,
they
you know,
might-
we sell a lot of Bourgogne.
I'm a big fan.
Okay, so we were in Champagne, but now we can't afford champagne anymore.
Right.
So there's so much good French sparkling or
Let's
Italian
do the-
prosecco or Spanish cava. Where we headed there for $20 bubbles?
Well, if the country doesn't matter, I would look at, and I didn't write the name down, so I'm going to blank on the name. We just brought in a delicious Argentinian sparkling wine.
Really?
It's $16 a bottle, 100% Chardonnay, high altitude vineyards.
So
but
nice and dry.
nice and dry and crisp. But I would look for France, look for a Cremant de Bourgogne
Yeah.
or a Cremant de Loire. Cremant de Bourgogne will be Chardonnay based. Cremant de Loire will be Chenin Blanc based. They'll run you low 20s to 30, so much
Uh-huh.
cheaper than Champagne, but the quality is better than ever these days on those wines.
Okay, where else are we traveling on your list there?
Well, I wanted to include, you have to mention Beaujolais.
Of
I
course.
think, because if you go to Paris, for example, which doesn't have its own wine per se, if you go into a wine bar there, like if you're going to Les Cavistes here, they specialize in Beaujolais.
Mhm.
And that's what a lot of the Parisian wine bars do. So
They specialize in a particular area.
Beaujolais, Loire, kind of those country
Right.
wines that are
Yeah.
affordable and really distinctive. And,
And let me just add, while you said that, La Caviste, could get lost. To me, La Caviste is one of the best wine bars I've ever been to in the world.
Mhm.
And it's right in
Absolutely.
our backyard, right
Right.
here on
Yeah,
7th Avenue.
David
I
is-
mean, in the world. Paris, bar
Yeah.
none. It's
Yeah.
fabulous.
yeah, I agree. That's all because of David's vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
He
absolutely.
does an outstanding job, and it's exactly how you want a wine bar to be.
Okay, Beaujolais.
So Beaujolais has gotten a little more expensive if you look at what are called the cru Beaujolais, the top level. But recently we've discovered some delicious ones at 20 and under. Like we're going to pour one at the store tomorrow from a producer called Burgaud, Burgaud, Beaujolais Village, $18 a bottle, and it's delicious.
Mhm.
And it's exactly the kind of thing you would have if you went into a
Yeah.
little cafe in the Beaujolais region.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, actually, in a lot of part of France.
Or in Paris, yeah,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Uh-huh.
So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get really authentic French wines that will remind you of your trip.
And
So
that's the Gamay grape, right?
That's
Right.
Gamay, yeah.
And an $18 bottle of wine here in Seattle is a glass of wine probably for €3 in France in a
Yeah.
cafe or in
Oh.
a bistro.
Mhm.
3
Yeah,
to
what-
€4.
Things
maybe
are much,
less.
yeah, things are much cheaper there.
Yeah. I mean, and that's why you come back and you're like, where can I get this wine? I'm like, man,
But I
You
find
know-
it remarkable that a wine can come from Beaujolais all the way to Seattle, and I can put it on my shelf for $18.
that is impressive.
It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Very unusual. I call it it reminds me of the Prince song 1999. It's like we're going backwards in time because those aren't priced that way anymore.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
But you can
So,
find them.
by the way, great idea to buy a case of that, put it in the cellar, and use it between now and Christmas, because that's a perfect holiday wine to use with your Thanksgiving. With the turkey, You open a couple of 2 or 3 of those bottles for the whole family to be
perfect.
gathered
Perfect
around the
Thanksgiving,
table. It's
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you buy a case, we give 15% off. It gets it down to under $16 a bottle.
Wow.
Okay, any place else that we're traveling to kind of on our broke budget here?
Well,
We only have about a
I'm
minute.
going to mention, you said Europe, but I'm going to mention South America because a number of my customers do go there. And there's a lot of really interesting things showing up in the market from Argentina and Chile, besides the usual Malbecs owned by French
Right.
companies. I would advise people to look for an importer called Brazos, Brazos. It'll be on the back label. They're bringing in small, mostly organic producers, generally lighter style, very quaffable wines for great prices from $18 to $25 a bottle. And I think they will duplicate many of what they're mostly, they've been local wines. It's only because of them we're seeing them in the United States.
Uh-huh.
So we have all those out at Pike Western, and any good wine shop should have them.
You know, when you read about Argentina and places like that with 100% inflation, it's like, how do they even get to where they can send the wine out of the country? It's like,
I don't understand.
Yeah.
It. Maybe we're paying them in dollars. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. It's
Well,
very-
thanks. Go down and visit Mike down at Pike and Western Wine Shop. If you haven't been to a small wine shop lately, or you just shop at grocery stores or whatever, reintroduce yourself to having your own sommelier, a wine store owner that actually understands your taste, knows your taste. It's super fun to walk in and say, I'm making salmon tonight. I'm in a hurry. What should I have? And they know what you kind of like.
Just like you have a fishmonger, you should have a winemonger.
Yeah, there you go.
We love that.
All
We
right.
love that.
Lindsay Funston from The Kitchen is going to join us about talking or storing tomatoes on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show 97.3 FM.
Thank you, Mike.
You know, Mike, most of our guests bring us a little something to drink when they come on the show.
But they already knew you were drinking champagne.
I didn't want to ruin your glasses today.
Oh, nice, Mike.
Or mine, for that matter.
Or yours, yeah.
Glasses a day.
All right, are we ready to go to Charlie's? What time is it?
10:06.
All right. Go to them so I don't have to hop around anymore. So we've got all four. We got hour one complete, I believe.
Yes. Now we're going segment 2, hour 2. How are we doing out there? You guys good? I have that. I have that, Tom.
You're okay. Okay, have it again. So
Good morning.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. My name
Totally-
is
totally miss you
my
at
name
dinner.
is Olivier, but I am
Olivier.
je
not
m'appelle
French.
Olivier.
Olivier qui mange les olives.
My mom is Swiss, and she learned English watching Laurence Olivier videos. So there's the name.
There you go. Well,
It's a lovely name.
It's a very good
Are you
name.
married to Genevieve Olivier? No.
If my wife is watching this, fortunately not. Yes, no.
That's my favorite French woman's name, Genevieve.
And you say it well. You speak French? Olivier?
I do not.
I taught Terry how to speak French because he's from Sheboygan.
I can
I've
tell.
been working on my accent for 35 years and I just can't manage that one very well.
So we're live at 10:15.
We're going to go live a little bit sooner than that, but you're on YouTube now, our YouTube channel, and then you'll
Okay.
hear me introduce you into the segment. So, Oliver, we want to make sure that we cover kind of not just the, Charlie's is our purveyor for fruit at our restaurants and produce,
Mhm.
and we want to make sure that we understand about the produce more than the backside of the business too much because it's.
Mhm.
So we can talk about growing organic and why and all that sort of thing, and then we need to kind of get into the fruit and maybe some of the characteristics of the fruit and what you should look for when you're buying tomatoes. You feel good about all that?
Yes. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
By the way, this is
Yeah,
nationwide. By the way, this is nationwide. Don't be nervous.
Worldwide. We're on the web.
Worldwide. Sorry.
www.
That's right.
Hello, world.
Hello, world. Okay, Oliver or Olivier, are you ready? We're going to go live.
I'm ready. I think we have one more gentleman joining, Ernesto, also from Coke, if he can. If not,
You have somebody else from Coke that you're expecting? You're going off our show sheet. So do you just have Oliver or do you have somebody else? Okay.
Ernesto.
Where's Ernesto? Is he in your office or is that a different feed?
he's a different feed. He's logging in, but
Why don't you see if you can find them? That's a lot. Try and get 4 of us talking.
yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Oliver, if it doesn't hurt Ernesto's feelings, let's bring him on another day.
Sounds good.
Okay. That good? So if you'll give our apologies for that, I'm not sure. Well, you can't hop into Oliver's because Oliver's on his own, right?
Yeah.
So we're just going to ask him we're going to have him come on another day. Okay. All right. I don't. How was breakfast, everyone? Yeah? Good. Don't forget, Julie, if you would pass around a pint or 2 of tomatoes, and maybe people could have a tomato while they're listening to our tomato segment. Anybody want to try an organic tomato? You know you do.
Are they Coke Farm tomatoes today?
They are Coke
Yeah, they
Farms.
are. Coke
I can't see. Oh boy,
The real test is right here, and they're
the real
they're
test
gruesome.
is here.
They're gruesome. That audience. They're critics like nobody's business.
We have some tomatoes in our cooler. We're thinking of having a big tomato fight tomorrow afternoon in our yard.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
That sounds
we're seeing
fun.
if we can find some
You have any
some
bulls?
goggles.
You have any
goggles
bulls
at
in the
Dollar
backyard?
Tree.
What is it? The rotten
quite.
tomato fight?
We have
All right.
some riper fruit in the cooler that may be going to donation, and we're seeing what we can do about them.
Done? Good. We're back in the Hot Stove Kitchen on Cairo Radio. Everyone's got a tomato in their mouth from Coke Farm, right here, distributor up here by Charlie's Produce. This is our weekly Charlie's Produce Cultivating Fresh segment. And we've got Olivier from Coke Farm. Some people call him Oliver. I call him Olivier.
And I call him Olivier, so that's good.
Isn't that what I said?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Welcome, Oliver, to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having the California guy today.
I know. You know, we don't usually like to talk to you Californians, but
I know. Hopefully I can skew your opinions.
yeah, we'll do most anything for organic produce. Tell us about, organic produce has become, I don't want to say the rage, because, but it's certainly people are more and more willing to pay the cost of a little bit higher cost of organic produce. And when I see it in the grocery stores now, the section is almost as big as regular produce section, it seems to me, at many of our grocery stores. Tell us how Coke Farm got started and your process, and how you enlist other farmers to kind of help in the organic path that you're taking.
Yeah. Coke Farm's been certified organic since 1981. So we're celebrating our 42nd and the 43rd year of certified organic.
Wow.
Our CCOF cert is certification 001. And so obviously that's something we're pretty proud
God,
of.
no kidding.
And,
It's the highest you
Kale
can get,
Coke.
right?
highest, lowest. Yeah.
Right.
Before they were a governing body, they were nonprofit, and Dale Coke had some piece in developing it into the governing body that it is today. And at the time we were awarded that number. So, Dale Koch, pioneering organic farmer, started with a half an acre of strawberries and, at the tail end of the farming time up to, 500 acres and specialty and common crops, over 100. We're in the 2.0 version of Coke at this point in our career. About 17, 18 years ago, we had this infrastructure and in-house sales, which is kind of unique for a grower to have our own national sales platform. And growers started coming to us to sell their product. Fast forward 15, 16 years, and we represent over 114 growers in our region and beyond.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize you were doing all that.
Yeah. For reference to the growth of it, 5-6 years ago, we were representing 50 growers. So the business has grown swiftly in that regard. And it just kind of happened upon us, right place, right time, right location, good reputation. And, here we are today. Food hub, some might call us a food hub. Although I've been told to maybe come up with something more creative now because food hub's not necessarily associated with great success at the moment. And, what we have going on here has been pretty successful.
Right. So Coke, COKE, just like the beverage farm.
Coke like the beverage.
Yep. And so you help other farmers. I mean, just because you can grow tomatoes doesn't make you a good business person. So you help other farmers become more successful in getting their product to market and all the certifications that you need and crop planning, quantities that you guys know that the marketplace needs. That seems very much like when Terry and I were accepting young farmers at our back door at our restaurants was always the issue was that they could never kind of get over the hump of all the
distribution,
the licensing, the name, the certifications. Yeah. So I think that's awesome to have a central kind of clearing area that Coke is doing to get other farmers in the pipeline.
Yeah, the logistics, not to name that. Also, when they're delivering to you, they're not on their farm,
right?
Which we often see as its own issue. But yeah, 10 years ago, we saw what this business was doing and the demands of the market and the needs of the growers. And we kind of were like, okay, we have to get a hold on this and really, create a program to organize as best as we possibly can. And, like managing a sports team, you figure out who your players are, what they do the best, and how they can be best utilized in that position. And that goes from region to region, season to season. And so we've done a really good job at that. But constant work in progress. It's not perfect. Right. We're dealing with growers. We're dealing with customers. On the grower side, it's a special language. Nature. We're dealing with nature. And our new normal is unnormal, in regards to weather, what we've dealt with in the past few years. But so these services we're offering the growers are more out of necessity, really, for both parties and all parties, customers included. And so, yeah.
One of my pet peeves with organic produce, chef, is when I go to the store and I see this organic blah, 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 and then it's wrapped in a plastic clamshell.
Oh, yeah.
And it all has plastic stickers on them. And, I know the stickers serve the purpose like for the UPC at the register. I kind of get that. Although if you talk to the compost people here in the Northwest, the number one issue they have is the stickers sticking to the massive grinders that they have.
It messes up the machine. It messes everything
up. But one of the things I noticed here on this flat of organic tomatoes that Charlie sent to us this week is that they're in compostable pint containers, which is so nice. And compostable flat container, that's just so nice. So congratulations on thinking organic all the way through the process.
Yeah. Work in progress. I would say as wholesalers, primarily, we do not get a lot of direct consumer feedback, right? Our distributors will get the feedback with his issues or they're happy about something, which you normally don't hear about something only when there's an issue. But direct consumer feedback to Coke Farm has been insane with this packaging. So the people want it, and it's new and it's slow to move. And I don't know that it's the absolute solution for the future, but we've worked really hard with our partner Sambrilo in Watsonville, California, who's developed this ready cycle packaging, and we're pushing it as hard as we can. But it's slow moving, just like organic was. I hope like Dale Coke, who now goes in Walmart and sees organic, and he's probably very happy about it at the end of his career. I hope at the end of mine I can go to Walmart and everything is ready cycle, and I was part of the beginning of that.
Awesome.
Do you think there will ever be a day where you guys gonna take it back, take all the containers back, and then be able to reuse them? Do you think we ever go back to that?
Now you're freaking them out.
I sure hope so.
All right. Olivier's been our guest from Coke Farm. Charlie's Cultivating Fresh. You'll see their trucks going to every one of our restaurants. You can also find them in grocery stores like the Met Market, the Paul's Bowl Red Apple, Lopez Village Market, Frank's in the Pike Place Market, Ken's Markets, Hagen's, Fred Meyer's, Tacoma Boys, and many more. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Oliver.
Olivier.
Yep. Appreciate support. Thanks for having us.
All
Great
right.
pleasure. Keep the good work.
Yes, sir.
Up next, the Espresso Martini is making a comeback on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Well, look who's here.
Hey.
You can choose. Why don't you go to that one in front of Terry over there? Sorry to get you up out of bed this morning.
That's okay. It's good for me.
I forgot to call Stacy, too. I put her on the show without telling her.
But she
Since
had-
I wasn't alone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did Julie make you a red drink?
No,
I had to beg for mine.
What is it?
Hibiscus. Not magnolia. Mimosa.
Oh, not an espresso martini?
No.
Oh.
But typically our guests bring something that drive.
Oh, I'm sorry. You forgot to tell me I
Oh.
was on the show.
Oh. That was a rebound.
What did he tell you? Just show up.
No, I
No,
got
I
an
write
email.
the show. I write the show outline, and then I send it to Liz, who puts it in the show format that
Right.
we see, and then I just kind of never made the. No, I know. What I did with you was I tried to call you to see if you could do it, and then I didn't have her phone number. I just have her email, and then I forgot the email.
I made it.
It's tough being me.
You got a lot going on. I get
Yeah.
it.
We all get it.
Everyone's got it. So we're going to talk about coffee drinks in general, including these, because like when we'll do this on the radio.
Okay.
John, will you right up to your face?
You need to be really close, Leann, like this.
Yeah. Okay.
No, don't back
That
away
works?
now. Don't back away. Get right to it.
Okay.
Listen to me and listen to me. Ooh, yeah, that's what we're talking about. I made myself out.
That's a funny one.
All right, here we are. It's the Hot Stove Kitchen at the Hotel Andra, downtown Seattle. If you want a landmark, we're above Lola Restaurant, across the street from Serious Pie and Dahlia Bakery. Saggio is down below us here. We are just in the heart of downtown Seattle. We've asked Leann to join us. She is the general manager and bartender extraordinaire at the Carlisle Room up there across from the Paramount Theater, named after Brandy Carlisle, my favorite singer. And a couple of months back when Pam was doing the show, I said, and she was also ordering the booze here, I think, for the Hot Stove Society. She said something. I said, do you guys need any coffee liqueur? Because espresso martinis are hot. And she says, I would never drink an espresso martini. So she refused to put them on the menu here. And I said, well, Leann over at the Carlisle Room sells a ton of them.
So many.
And I was thinking to myself, well, it doesn't seem like our audience is very old over there, because espresso martinis and coffee nudges and Irish coffees were huge in the late 70s when I was in the restaurant business back then, but they've just kind of disappeared, except for Irish coffees during, that time of year. But I do the booze at our restaurants, and I see you keep ordering the Mr. Black coffee liqueur. So what's going on?
I don't think they ever went anywhere. I think that they've kind of just been slowly working themselves back up.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, at least for like my generation.
It's Gen Xers, right? You're a Gen Xer or not?
I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial.
Yeah, I'm a millennial. But I definitely think like we grew up drinking like Jaeger bombs and vodka Red Bulls.
Uh-huh.
And like we can't drink that
I
anymore.
love when I
I'm
hear.
glad I'm not in that
You know?
generation.
I love when she said we grew up.
Yeah.
drinking." I'm like starting at 5.
Not in my early 20s anymore. I can't do that,
Mhm.
you know? And I think especially for us at the Carlisle, since we're across the street from the theater, people want something that's going to like give them a little buzz before a show, but also keep them awake.
Right. So
And
the
it's
coffee,
perfect.
the
Yeah.
coffee
I
combo
must say, I
helps.
was there the other day before Buddy Guy,
Mhm.
and the two men next to us definitely ordered an espresso martini.
Yeah.
So-
we make a lot of espresso.
And
martinis.
by the way, that was after their dinner, not before.
No. Thank God.
Just want to
So
make sure.
tell us how to make one. I know how to make a coffee nudge, but I don't know how to make an espresso martini.
It's really simple. It is about an ounce and a half of vodka, an ounce of espresso, half an ounce of
So an
coffee
ounce of
liqueur.
real espresso.
Mhm.
Oh.
Half an ounce of coffee liqueur, and then usually half an ounce of simple syrup. And then you just shake it and strain it into a martini glass.
And I think that's how they invented those speedy drinks that you find on the market today. A little bit of booze, a little bit of coffee.
yeah.
Well, coffee liqueur when we were making drinks was always Kahlua, but now you have other options.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Kahlua. I think that it's a little too sweet and you don't get as much like actual coffee flavor. So we use the Mr. Black's cold brew liqueur because it just tastes like straight cold brew.
And
So you
it's-
get a little bit more of like a bitter chocolatey espresso martini out of it rather
Uh-huh.
than like a candy.
Have you ever made it with just straight espresso?
Yeah, you kind of, it's not as boozy as you would
Ah.
maybe want it to be.
Because Mr. Black's is what, 30% alcohol?
Yeah,
So it's not
pretty
high.
Well, it's like less than, it's about the same as Kahlua. It's
Okay.
a little higher than Kahlua.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm not a huge fan of espresso martinis.
How
I
can you
think-
say that?
I think there's
You're putting them back on the map.
I think there's other vehicles for coffee liqueur that I would rather drink.
Uh-huh.
Do say. What is it?
Like with the Mr. Blacks, I really love it as what we would call an M&M, which is just a shot with 2 liquors that start with M. So like Mr. Blacks and Mezcal, for example,
Ah.
is delicious. Or Mr. Blacks
Smoky
and-
coffee.
Yeah.
I see how you think. Booze first.
right? Or Mr. Blacks and like Montenegro kind of
Uh-huh.
tastes like a chocolate covered orange,
Uh.
which is delicious.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
I love the way she thinks though. Booze first. I like that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's the purpose of a cocktail. If you're gonna order a cocktail, you're not here for the fruit, right? Or the salad. You're here for the actual cocktail.
What other coffee drinks are people buying? I bet you haven't had a coffee nudge ordered in your lifetime.
You would be surprised.
Really? Because
Yes.
those were like the hottest drink in the late 70s when I was at Boondocks on Broadway or other restaurants around town. Those were the hot drinks. Of
Like
course, I
Irish
was only 19.
Coffee nudge. Is it like Irish coffee?
Oh, Irish coffee has never gone away, really, especially during March. But
What's a coffee nudge?
it's brandy, creme de cacao, whipped cream, coffee.
Oh yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Same principle idea.
Yeah.
I have to look up the recipe every time.
Oh, do
'cause
you?
People order it once in a while, and I'm always like, I know it has coffee in it
Uh-huh.
and chocolate.
What about Black Russians or White Russians are cream and vodka, right? Black
Yeah.
Russians are coffee liqueur, cream and vodka. Is that which-
Black Russian doesn't have any cream in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just Kahlua and vodka.
We get those occasionally. I feel like those had their heyday, like when the Big Lebowski was big, and
Right.
now it's a little bit like people don't necessarily want to drink milk and liquor.
Uh-huh.
which I don't blame them.
But they'll drink. Well, I guess there's nothing natural in it. Bailey's Irish cream or things.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've made like several different coffee variation cocktails for the menu that always do really well, but never as well as just a regular old espresso martini.
Uh-huh.
Which
See, one cocktail I like to make for me is affogato, which is basically vanilla ice cream, a shot of espresso, and then I put grappa on top of that.
Ooh,
No,
grappa
you-
or
Real
Art.
grappa.
I know. but
Grappa.
I
And-
think of you going the French version.
Well, eau de vie is the other French version,
Yeah.
but I do have some grappa in my bar as well. And I tell you one thing, this is delicious
sounds delicious.
because it makes the affogato. I like a good affogato if it's done right, and not too much ice cream. Just the right amount to go with the espresso shot, but then a good drop of grappa on top of that. That would wake up a dead person.
At the Carlisle, we do espresso martini affogatos because we just figured why not just embrace it?
Yeah, why
Like,
not?
it's what people want.
See, I think
Why
that
not?
would be more my cup of tea. Yeah, it's not really a tea, but yes.
You know, we're on the new Neb menu. We're have a little antipasti menu, a little Negroni menu, and a little Vino menu. And we were talking the other day about the Negroni Jello that you made at the Carlisle as possibly being one of our desserts.
One of my favorite weird experiments that we've ever done.
Yeah, tell me about
that. We were really inspired by like retro desserts, and I was like, "What's more retro than Jello?" But how do we make
Nothing
a Jello
is.
dessert that's
Right.
cool?
Mm.
So I made a Negroni Jello, and originally I wanted to do like little canned mandarin oranges floating in it.
I think did I put the kibosh on that?
I think you did.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, I'm a jerk.
Well,
You should try it. I think it'd be
I think
hot.
it'd be really fun.
I think
So
it would be hot.
Negroni is gin, Campari, and
Sweet vermouth.
Sweet vermouth.
Yeah, and then to make the Jello, we do have to add like quite a bit of simple syrup, like sugar water, to
Uh-huh.
it to just make it palatable as a Jello. And then we top it with a sweet vermouth whipped cream and grated orange, and it's
Uh-huh.
delicious.
That's why we don't use canned things. There's better options.
Well, you can candy your own orange and put that in there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what she did.
But you're talking about Jello now, which is like you gotta keep
Which is
things
what?
in perspective.
What's the matter with gelatin? The French use
Nothing.
it all the time on pate and
Sure,
all kinds of things.
Yeah. absolutely. No, it's good.
I made on Moscato d'Asti gelatina for my pate over at the new place.
Nice.
Okay, espresso martinis. You're not going to find Leann having one at the bar, but you're going to find everyone else having one at the bar. I buy now about a case every 2 weeks of Mr. Black
Oh my God.
for Leann. And who knew that the Gen Xers were going to come back around the oval, the track oval, and show
You're not
up
the
for-
only one. I mean, the people I saw when I was there were not Gen Xers. They were older than me.
Yeah.
The other thing I
Same.
remember from that era was sambuca with espresso beans in it. That was like the
Mhm.
big thing. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I found
Look at her. She's like, "What are you talking about?"
We don't carry Sambuca, Tom.
I know you don't. Although I did just send you a bottle of
Oh,
NSF.
good.
Yes, exactly. That's been Leann Jensen, general manager and bar manager at the Carlisle Room. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to move now to our Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge right here on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show.
Sambuca.
I know, I sent it to her. All right, bring him on up. Aren't those little sausages?
Taking people from the audience. Who wants to play trivia? Oh, we got the volunteers. Wow, you came a long way. Cincinnati, Ohio. Last time I was in Cincinnati, I got beat up at 2:00 in the morning
Oh no.
You
I'm so
by
did?
3
sorry.
guys.
Did you really?
No.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
they took my wallet,
Oh my god.
but I survived. I will survive. I ran after them for about a block and I called 411 and I heard what city and I was like, no, just shit. I was running like 911 and the lady screamed at me and said, sit on the sidewalk.
Oh, I gotta be over there. Oh, we're playing again. Oh,
Not against her, not against her, with her.
Oh my! Yeah, some
If I'd
chili noodles,
known.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Or did you ever meet the cockroach that ate Cincinnati?
No.
Remember that song on Dr. Demento?
No.
Oh, you got to look it up. It's a
I
classic.
will.
My daughter and I learned every word when we were in the car. I used to put in the Dr. Demento CD and listen.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Who knows Dr. Demento? Yeah.
One
Uh-oh.
person,
It's a certain-
one
Seems like it's a
person,
certain age group.
one
here.
person. Okay, I made my point.
That was my dad's favorite meal was chili noodles, and I hated it. My mother,
Oh no.
my dad was a traveling
It's
salesman, so he left
delicious.
Monday morning, came back Friday night, and my mother would always make his favorite dinner for him.
chili noodles.
Yeah.
So it's
Aw.
And
chili,
then we would have a child 9 months later.
and then that was chili and noodles together.
Yeah, it's like chili over spaghetti or like
Yeah.
a.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I can see that. Why not?
Or on a hot dog. We call it a 3-way. Spaghetti, chili, cheese. Or a 4-way, add onions or beans, 5-way.
Ooh,
Do
easy
it all
now. You're
up.
getting fancy on me.
I-
When do the vegetables show up? The broccoli and the.
No.
Well, there's tomatoes in the chili.
That's a fruit,
That's a
but that's
fruit,
okay. I
but
go
that's
with
all
that.
right, yeah. Okay. What's your name, Miss
I'm Claire.
Claire?
Yep.
And
Allison.
Allison.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Terry, they look like they have it out for you.
Yeah, no kidding. I feel like I'm gonna be skewed again. Ready? Really? Pause.
You can't put baby in a corner. That's all there is to it. We're back in the kitchen. Time for our last segment of the day. It's Labor Day weekend marks the unofficial end of summer and the official start of football tailgate season. Are you a tailgater? Me neither.
Not
Thank you,
really.
Chef. Rub with Love can help you with both by adding a wide range of flavors to your event. You can find Rub with Love products at fine retailers like Met Market stores, including the brand new one that just opened up in Crown Hill area. Thriftways, PCCs, QFCs, so many places for Rub with Love, 5,000 retailers around the country, or just go online. Your choice.
TomDouglas.com.
There you are. Let's play. So the idea of this game is we have 2 victims from the audience, and the idea is that you each get 5 questions, and there are some winners and there are some losers. The losers get an L with a Sharpie on your forehead, and the winners get to have a little free stroll for 3 spice rubs in our gift shop here after the show. So, Allison,
Yes.
are you a winner or a loser?
I'm a winner.
Oh,
Ooh,
Claire?
did you see how she said that?
Allison says she's going to take you down.
She's going to.
Well, Chef, it looks like you only have one confident
Yeah.
challenger.
I think I'm gonna go. Okay, your turn. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
shall we
play
get
here.
started?
I'll show you how it's
Sean, are we
done.
all ready for this? Okay.
First question.
First question. The Hunter region is famous for wine production. Where is it?
Australia.
Why don't you take a second and think first, Chef?
I don't know. The Hunter.
The Hunter region.
Australia.
Okay, good. You are correct, sir.
It's the only place I know that would have a name like that. I'm right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Well, you just said it so fast. I wanted to make sure you were that confident. A tablespoon is equivalent to how many teaspoons?
5.
5. Chef, come on.
No, she's like 5. I'm
Oh,
like,
no, I was saying I
that's a
know.
big teaspoon. A big tablespoon. I mean,
3, Chef. You're not going to get out of
3.
it that way. Yep. What
Why
do you
don't you
think?
guys go to the metric system once and for all so we don't have to think about this? It's so much easier. You don't have to think.
Are you done whining, chef? You're 1 for 2. You're doing fine.
I know.
50-50 so far. The cultivated garden strawberry originated on which? I just ate one of those sausages and I can't talk. The cultivated garden strawberry originated in which continent? Let me try that again, chef.
No, I got it. On which
The
continent?
cultivated garden strawberry originated on which continent?
Cultivated one, which is where the trick is at. I'm going to go Europe.
You are correct, sir. I was thinking it was one of your ancestors.
Correct.
Yes.
Monsieur Strawberry.
2 for 3. What's the name of the measurement that is twice the size of a typical wine bottle?
A Magnum.
Correct. Wow, he's going to be tough today, you Claire and Allison coming in here all sorts of egotistical.
So far, 3 out of 4.
Okay, you ready, set? This
Yep.
is going to break your heart.
You're breaking my heart. You
The
tear me
drink
apart.
Bellini was invented in which country?
Oh. It was invented in Italy and perfected in France.
Oh, that's how it unbroke your heart. All right, 4 for 5.
4 out of
Nice
5.
showing, chef. Nice showing.
Okay, here we go. I'm setting a precedent. You can only win with 5. Go ahead, Alison.
Oh, no.
She
Who
gets
wants
so
to
high.
go first here? Allison's going to go first.
Do it.
Okay. Cincinnati, huh?
Yes.
Cincinnati chili, huh?
Yes.
Chili noodles, huh?
Yes.
5 layers is your style.
Potentially.
Tell me what they are real quick.
Chili, spaghetti, cheese, onion, beans.
Wow.
Okay, you win. Question number 1.
All right, your first question. Wiener Schnitzel, or as the Germans I think would say, or Austrians, the Wiener Schnitzel, is made from a breaded cut of what meat?
Pork.
That is true sometimes. That is not the answer on my sheet. Veal is.
Yeah.
No, you can do either one because we have chicken schnitzel at the
Wait a minute.
Carlisle
She
room.
gets the point?
She gets a full point, chef.
What? Thank you.
She's from Ohio. I was born in Ohio.
You know Oprah? Because it feels like you do right now.
Way to go, Allison.
Look under your seat.
Okay, this one's going to be tougher. Merlot originates from which French city?
Oh no.
Oh no. But it rhymes with no.
I
Don't know. Bordeaux.
Oh,
You should know Bordeaux.
Sorry.
I was like,
Okay.
Help me. I wasn't.
The Indian dish ras malai is made from what? Ooh, you're looking at your friend here, but she's your competitor
No,
now.
I know. No.
Yeah.
She's also my aunt.
Your aunt? She's calling you an aunt?
I know.
Rice.
Okay.
Malai, rice, and
Close, but cheese.
Oh.
So you win. That's what Pam
right
would do.
now, you're 1 out of 3.
Okay.
So you're not yet winning.
No.
What is the most popular donut flavor at Krispy Kreme?
The most popular donut
At
flavor.
Krispy Kreme. Sometimes there's a sign outside that says now hot.
Glazed.
Glaze, exactly.
You can get a donut question.
Congratulations. You win a dozen donuts from Krispy
Oh.
Kreme. Not from me. And this is the easiest one.
Oh no. What if I don't get it?
Then you should be very embarrassed. Gin and vermouth are used to make what cocktail?
Gin and vermouth. A martini.
Sometimes a vodka
A
and vermouth.
martini.
A martini. Congratulations.
Yay.
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Nice job.
Thank you.
So
She
now
can-
you just have to beat your aunt, Claire, to get a free stroll through the Spice Rub
Ah.
shop. Okay, Claire, are you ready?
I think so.
3 is a number to beat.
Am I getting multiple choice?
No. At
Sometimes.
least not on some. Sometimes. I haven't seen any yet. What is the main ingredient of baba ganoush?
Eggplant.
Nice job. What a
Woo,
confident
she's killing it.
beginning.
I know.
Way to go. Do you know how they cook the eggplant to make it so delicious?
Is it roasted?
more like it's charred.
Ah.
They blacken the skin like you might on a roasted pepper. You get that smoky flavor. Delicious. Ooh,
Next question.
I wouldn't know this one. What is the main ingredient of Cullen skink?
That sounds.
Cullenskink. Cullen skink. Anybody in the audience know?
Wow.
Nobody knows. Oh,
I'm gonna take a guess.
all right.
Skunk.
That's a good idea. It's a good idea.
Well, I'm going to give you a thumbs up for chutzpah, but it's not anywhere close to the answer. Haddock. It's a fish.
Ah.
Haddock.
So where is it from?
From the sea. Haddock from the sea.
No, the name.
It sounds like it's either Irish or Scottish to me.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
I don't know. Sapporo is a beer from which country?
Japan.
Nice job.
Woo. Two
But
out of
she
three.
knows. She
Two
knows.
out of three.
Yeah, she's like right in there. Okay, I was taught how to make pesto, basil pesto, by Pasqualina Verde down in the Pike Place Market. She used to have a big table there, and she had some main ingredients of pesto, and she also has some cheat ingredients. So, like, she would use 50% parsley to go with the basil to kind of add bitterness, and because basil was more expensive. But she also used 2 different kinds of nuts that she said were available to use. One was walnuts. The other is
For pesto.
for pesto, for classic basil pesto.
Almonds.
No.
No.
Can I steal?
Yes.
Pine nuts.
Pine nuts. All right.
Ah.
Now you're 4 out of 5. Yes, indeed.
Uh-oh. She just went up one. Uh-oh. No, you can't have any more mistakes if you want to.
Oh.
If you both want to go through the shop.
All right. Stolen is from which country?
It's-
STOLLEN.
yeah.
Stolen.
It's
like
a
a Christmas
pastry,
bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Boy.
You know? I think Allie's gonna take this for the win.
No, she's already won.
No,
so-
she's already won.
Anybody in the audience? now?
Anybody in the audience?
Germany. There you go.
Oh.
Sort of nice job, Claire. You get to watch Allison shop for free in the gift shop. Thank you so much for playing. Good fun.
Thank you.
Wait. She, Tom. She still has one more question.
I have one more question.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, she only
Not
had
according
4.
to my sheet.
She's got 2 out of 4 right now.
All right. How many gallons are in a demijohn?
3. I don't know.
1. Turns out you still lose, Claire. If you want to be part of the show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or buy a ticket to join us in the studio at hotstovesociety.com. The show is produced by the Tom Douglas team, including Liz and Sean and Annie and the whole team here at Hot Stove. Julie, remember, if you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show in Cairo, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Thanks for listening and have a fabulous weekend.
And don't forget, Sean, don't call me Del Torre.
Thank you.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Congrats.